coming to Vijay, I'm going to ask you this question. I was going to ask Rajkumar, but have you any memories of screen? Because I know that you are, both of you actually, are non-film. You both went to FTII, and you were both students of cinema, and then you started to make, you did years of editing before you actually made your film. You started with a short film with Raj and DK, and then you came to the films that actually didn't really get seen so much, like Monsoon Shootout, for example. I remember being very struck by your presence in that film. It was a very exciting film, but it didn't go big. So the time that you actually broke out was Gully Boy, right? So tell me a little bit about those early years. Do you have a moment where you think of screen as something that you read, or is this going to be a first time experience for you looking at screen?
Uh, First of all, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Is my mic working? All right, fab. Uh, I'm very thrilled to be sitting next to Mr. Hirani. I've been such an ardent fan of his work. Lage Rao, Munna Bhai and Munna Bhai are quintessential moment in our lives. I remember first. I'll just digress a
Please
bit.
take your time. Yeah, yeah.
He's a super senior of mine from FTI. I went there in 2005. I don't know which year. I think he left in the 90s, 87. So Lagero Munna Bhai released 2006. I was still a student there. And I remember the entire batch of 20 actors went and watched that film. We couldn't get any good tickets. Everything was sold out. That was the first time I saw half an hour make ek shows or 1 hour make ek shows. Starts from 7 in the morning. It was such a big deal. So we got the front row tickets, first row. ऐसे इतना बड़ा पर्दा.
ऐसे करके देखा.
हाँ ऐसे करके देखा हमने पूरी फिल्म और पूरी फिल्म को पी लिया हमने और फिर 3 बार और जाके देखा हमने. तो I just wanted to just tell Mr. Hirani that he's a very important influence in Indian cinema and personally for all the FTI juniors that came after you.
And this is completely a coincidence that we have both of you, and both of you are, FTII students. But here you are, students of cinema, now doing cinema. So,
yeah.
And with an iconic screen at your back, yeah.
So screen, I remember watching the awards diligently. I think that made a huge impact for us. It just looked like a very merit-oriented awards. It kind of, made us look at it in a very, like, this is legit. They're actually giving awards to people who actually deserve stuff. So I felt like this Screen magazine was doing something that was probably ahead of the curve. And that's my memory of it. I have not interacted with the magazine at that time.
Right. So it was more like a journal. It was newspaper size, but I think it would be more accurate to call it a journal, but we are very excited to bring it back, and something you just deserve it.
No, I mean, I've got Best Dressed Actor award recently or something like that. I'm just saying that, Powerhouse of the Year and, Clutter Breaker or Best Thursday Actor. Best actor this weekend. So I just saying that that way.
But you are a sharp dresser, we have to say that. So
thank you so much.
Okay, back to you. Your journey has been very interesting in the sense that like I said, pan-India film, I'm saying it very advisedly because now people are talking about films that come from the South, where people are making these really bigger than, like a massive films with massive stars, with massive moments, and every film has to be bigger and bigger. Otherwise, that impact for people who are watching and buying those tickets is not enough. And I feel in the pandemic, our viewing patterns have changed. Everything, our whole world changed, and everybody still prefers sitting inside their homes and watching movies even on their phones rather than actually coming out, stumping up the ticket and watching something. So do you believe in this changing? And this is a question to both of you, but I will ask you first. Do you believe that we will go back to the kind of movies which are your kind of films, where there will be the human first rather than the machine? Because we are getting into AI now, and everybody is wondering whether AI is going to replace the human. In my opinion, it will never, because the creativity of a machine is going to be machinistic, and you are the most humane filmmaker that we have right now. So, what do you have to say about that?
See, I feel, yes, in a way, you're slightly right of the thing that the kind of visual thirst people had 10 years, 20 years back, there was nothing available. There was no OTT. There was not so much content on phone. So visually, you will be thirsty to end up in a theater every Friday. कि कुछ तो देख लें यार पर्दे पे. Now that visual thirst is gone. Now people are, before sleeping, spending 2 hours watching reels. So the immediate thing of every Friday landing up in a theater possibly is going away. But at the same time, I feel if you have an engaging enough story, if you can keep them engaged, need not be necessarily that's about scale. You know, then people will go. People hear it's a great story. People will go. That's my personal opinion. People will go and watch. We might not be providing it. We might be failing in giving that, but you give it to them. I don't see any reason why they. You know, when we listen to music, we don't say that. You listen to some of the most simplistic song. There's nothing, no orchestra, big orchestra playing. So it's not about scale. It's about a connect. If the story can find a connect with the person, people will go. And there have been examples even recently that people have gone out, which are not scale films. In fact, scale, I feel, can get exhausting beyond a point. How bigger can your explosions become, you know? Beyond a point, आप थोड़ा बड़कोगे, sound बढ़ता जाएगा, और ऊपर जाएगा आपका बम, पर you know, that's not going to. It's a drama of the thing which will, you know, we always give this example that, you know, you have a train coming and you see a man walking on the track, and as a viewer say, अरे यार ये नीचे आएगा. That's a little bit of thrill. But if you tell the audience that man is deaf, the thrill is double. अरे ये तो मरेगा, उसको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. So I think engaging the audience comes from your scripts. And then it's not about scale. So some film will come and, you know, go beyond, which has been happening now. Some films have come, they've gone beyond.
Yes, you're right. But this year, 2024, there have been only 2 films which have actually worked, so to speak. Everything else, especially the really what we used to call tentpole, still do tentpole, big star, big budget films, have all pretty much crashed and burnt at the box office. So that's why I asked you the question about, you know, what is it that the human element, I think. Once you
They
have
have more
that,
choices now. I think people have more choices. They're also watching, in a way, a globalization of cinema has happened. People are watching cinema from rest of the world also. So there's some great cinema. They have enough choices. So they're being selective about, only when they hear some great things, they'll go to the cinema hall. But it's only I think the platform will change. I don't think cinema seeing will stop. They might not sit in the theater, they'll see it somewhere else. But I guess everybody needs stories.